We need to unpack this image. Let's talk a little bit about what it suggests. Here we see a post from Nightmare Nostalgia, a great Facebook account for all things nostalgic. You should give them a follow if you can. In it they write, "Breaking! Here's your first look at McDonald's Halloween Boo Buckets for 2024. Then they speculate that the release date's going to be October 15th, and they give credit to Oscar Donaldo Hernandez, who I don't know. But Oscar seems to know what he's talking about. If you take a look at the Boo Buckets previewed here, you'll see that they're all monsters. First one's green, then blue, then white, then orange. Each monster seems to be a variation of the same species. There's no ghosts, no witches, no pumpkins, none of that. They've done that all in the past, and this seems like a completely new thing. But we do want to take rumors like this with a grain of salt. As we learned from the recent Collector's Cubs, Canada gets different ones than the US. So what you see here could very well be international Boo Buckets, and what lands here in the US might be different. Of course, what we get might be these very buckets. I don't know. To me, they seem kind of reminiscent of some werewolf concept art that I had seen from McDonald's from a few years ago. But frankly, for me, something about the buckets have lost their luster. In fact, for me personally, they never really had that much luster. As a kid, I'd rather have the toy, a McNugget buddy or something like that. I felt I could play with those. They could interact with my action figures, they could do all that good stuff, whereas a bucket is just a bucket, and let's face it, I'm not really one for organization. But the Boo Buckets have their fans, and you know what? If you are one, I love you for it. There's a long history there. Let's actually take a look at the first one. So this is McPumpkin from 1985. People forget that the Boo Buckets actually started regionally in 1985 before expanding nationally in 1986. The best way to tell a 1985 bucket from a 1986 bucket is you just look at the bottom. The 1985 ones say 1985, and the 1986 ones say 1986. There are also some differences you'll note in the handle and also the lid. Both will have character names on the back, in this case McPumpkin, and they've got that classic orange look that everybody loves. In all honesty, even though I didn't grow up with these Boo Buckets, they might be my favorites. They're classic, they're simple, they're direct, they get the job done. Here's a 1991 Boo Bucket featuring the Witch. There were a few characters in that line, this one being my favorite, topped off here with a few Happy Meal toys instead of the lid. My favorite part about it honestly isn't even the witch, it's the hidden away spider here on the back. Gotta be annoying to have a spider stuck in your hair even for a witch. She'd make a comeback in recent years, but here's the original. Interestingly, with these Boo Buckets, they have a copyright date on the bottom of 1986, however that doesn't actually tell you when this promotion was out. They copyrighted the bucket itself that year, but the designs on it would change in the coming ones. To tell this one's from the 90s, you'd just have to look up the promotion. Here's a 1999 Boo Bucket. It features McDonald's Land characters. It also has a 1986 copyright on the bottom, but it says on the sides that it's from 1999. Of course, I couldn't resist also filling this up with Happy Meal toys. And here's one from more recent years, 2022, The Ghost. My big complaint with these was the handles, all of which featuring the pumpkin, which doesn't quite make sense for a ghost. But hey, at the end of the day, they're fun trick-or-treat buckets for kids, and that's what counts. I think my biggest complaint of the buckets was that they came out with Halloween, insinuating that they were supposed to be candy buckets that kids would take on trick-or-treating runs. But honestly, if I just got this much candy on Halloween, as a kid I'd be kind of disappointed. I think I'd want to fill up a pillowcase or something. Maybe we like them not so much for what they are, but for what they represent. The designs speak to an era where lots of us trick-or-treated. We roamed the neighborhood late at night with our friends and had a lot of fun doing it. It's a slice of life we can't necessarily get back, but we can experience a little bit of it in our minds when we see these nostalgic buckets. With nearly 40 years of buckets in our past, what's your favorite? Do you like the witch? Do you like the ghost? The pumpkin? Lots of fun designs to choose from. And I'm curious, if we do get the monsters this year, how would you feel about that? I have my issues with them, yes, but in an era where algorithms tailor everything to the individual, I'm glad that there's something we can do collectively, celebrating Halloween in the way that we used to, giving us all an activity we can do together. Whether it's taking kids out trick-or-treating, being a kid yourself, going trick-or-treating, going to a party, or just doing what I do, which is sitting out in front of your house and handing out kids' meal toys. Either way, the season's coming, the weather's changing, and I'm wishing you a happy and slightly less than healthy one, given all the candy. Here's to getting something good. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Fast Food Toy Files. There's a new file every week, so please tune in next time for the next one. And until then, open your toys.